Coming up next, 4 new fragrances just released from Amouage. Amazing. It's just when you think they've gone one direction with the kind of royal ouds and that whole library collection, they come out with something just totally different smells. And anyways, gonna tell you what they are and give you a little first impression coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, to Joel the Nose, and here I am at Osme. Got Maurice walking around in the background, and so today's video, as you saw from the outset, is about the 4 new releases just came out here in early 2023 from Amouage. They've been on a roll lately, just coming out with a lot of great stuff that has been, I think, generating a lot of noise in the niche world. And you know, again, that kind of opus library collection with things were a little bit darker and leathery and oud, and now you have this new set of fragrances that have come out that is just, I love them. So let me get right into this and kind of give you a first impression because they're all very different. First you have, let's see here, oh, sorry, my camera sometimes shuts off or goes out. This is Purpose. Purpose, and the nose behind this is Quentin Bisch, a real, used to be known, I think still is more of an avant-garde, kind of takes risks, you know, perfumer that I happen to love. I like what he does. I like when he gets into something. And this is a fragrance that, to me, of the 4, jumped out to me as something that I know I'm going to love immediately because of the Olibanum, which has that incense flavor, and vetiver, which is one of my favorite notes, rose. It's got some suede, saffron. This is just very, right from the bottle, I can smell that incense quality. That really is something that on my skin works well. So if you like Olibanum and incense, this is a fragrance you're gonna wanna check out. Again, from Quentin Bisch, the perfumer for Amouage here. Next, and again, I'm just giving you a kind of quick first impression introduction here to these fragrances. This one is Lineage. And don't let the bottles fool you. Typically, Amouage, when you see these smaller square bottles, they're meant for feminine fragrances, but these are all unisex actually. So don't let that kind of shy away. Some people get, you know, a little bit weird about that, or not weird, but just feel like, you know, they can't have this bottle. It's absolutely unisex. But Lineage, this one is, wow. I get a lot of pepper off the initial, and ginger. It's got different kinds of peppers. I think it's got Szechuan pepper. I think it's got Peruvian pepper. So it's a very spicy fragrance. I'll hold the bottle up there so you can see it a little bit better. Very, very, again, this has also got Olibanum, but to me the Olibanum here is not as, it's not as present at the top. It's more present as the dry down comes, because I think it's at both the heart and the base notes on this. So benzoin, and also at the bottom, gives a nice sweet base, long lasting, also has vetiver, it's got some patchouli, some labdamen. So again, those are all very, what would be considered traditionally masculine notes. So don't let it fool you, you know, as far as, just another winner here. Next, I'm gonna go to, again, don't let it fool you, this is unisex, and also this is another fragrance that Quentin Bisch did for Amouage. And you can see it here. This is Guidance. Guidance, again, it's in like a pink bottle, in that little square bottle that traditionally means feminine, but this is very much unisex. Although this one would be, I consider, probably the most feminine of the 4 that I'm talking about today, or the most feminine leaning. And this is, what am I gonna say? There is it's a note that I'm trying to pick up. It's a pear note, pear, which is not one you typically see in perfumery, right? That's kind of something that was much more prevalent back in original or traditional French perfumery back in the 30s and 40s. This is got an interesting, again, Olibanum note. So all these fragrances are hitting up that incense quality, but combined with pear, really cool. In fact, I'm gonna put it on my skin right here because it's just, this one is so unique. Also, it's got some saffron and rose in there. sandalwood for a creamy smoothie base along with some vanilla, and also a touch of ambergris. Ambergris, you know, which is basically the not remains, but the excrement from whales that they spit out or comes out from the rear end. That is one of the oldest and most treasured notes in perfumery. Ambergris, if you smell it, it kind of gives that a little bit of an animalic, but not like musk, not as much as like an animalic musk, but it's a really good fixative for fragrances. It helps fragrances really radiate, it helps the other notes radiate, and helps give them longevity. So again, check this one out, also by Quentin Bish. So he's done 2 fragrances here, and this one to me is right up his alley. It's very, very unique. And lastly, but of course not the least, is Search. Ooh, what can I say about this one? This is by far the most unique to me because of how different it is from the beginning to the end of the fragrance. It starts out with a very lemony, lime, orange, citrus opening. When you first smell this, you're gonna think, okay, this is kind of like a citrusy, freshy, a Mediterranean fragrance. Maybe, you know, maybe you're thinking it's got some bergamot or very citrusy. I mean, it's like reminds me of, you remember those lemon, sweet little lemon candies, lemon drops? I love those. It reminds me of a lemon drop at the top. Very edible, very just yummy, almost like a really sweet lemonade too, fresh homemade lemonade. But that stays that way for on my skin, about 30 minutes. After that, it takes a hard U-turn. I mean U-turn, and goes the completely opposite direction. That is what makes this one so unique. It is, I guess, again, there's olibanum, so all 4 of these utilize that olibanum. There's also black pepper, but for me, I think what really takes it in that turn is the note of Gaiac wood. And by the way, there's also vetiver in here too. So a lot of these fragrances, there's a lot running through. The vetiver, the olibanum, the pepper is there's a lot of common notes. But that Gaiac wood, if you've ever seen Gaiac wood, and I have some from the perfume oils that I've been working on, it's very thick, very kind of almost resinous. It's a great base note, good for fixing other notes and holding them in place. But this literally goes from that lemony top to this Gaiac vetiver base, which is just out there. And quick story that Maurice actually just told me, he was wearing this the other day. This just came into Osme, and he was out to dinner with his wife, Bhavika, the co-owner here at Osme, and they walked in, they sat down at their table. After about 10 minutes, table that was, you know, at another part of the restaurant came over to them and said, "Excuse me, can you mind tell us what you're wearing?" And he's like, "Yeah," he told them this is Search from Amouage, one of their new fragrances. What they said was they smelled his sillage, his scent trail, when he walked in, and he walked by their table, and they could smell it, and when the air conditioning kicked on, it blew more their way, and they were all completely mesmerized by this fragrance. So much so that the guy came in the back the next day. He'd never been to Osme before, and came in the next day because they talked and bought this fragrance. It is that unique, and the dry down is that good that it got that type of response in just a restaurant from a random person and a random table of people. So there you have it, 4 new wonderful Amouage fragrances. I like them all. I'll probably do full reviews on some of them as time goes by a little bit and I get to wear them a little bit more. But I wanted to bring them to you and show you what is out there right now. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back soon with another video. Peace, love, and perfume.